guys, welcome back to my channel, and sorry for the interruptions. We are on the top of page 112. Fear, dread, the suspension that I was just fooling myself and it could never last. All of the above, the party spilled out of the game room onto the back patio, where a group of kids were huddled around the fire pit over the course of the night. I caught a few glimpses of short blonde hair and forced myself to ignore the subsequent soul-crunching pang. At the point, I looked up to see Carter watching Jared and me. Did his soul crunch? Did he feel the same pang? He didn't act like he felt it. As always, he was near Zoe with a hand on her shoulder. I watched his fingers drift across her skin in a way that threatened to hollow me out. I leaned deeper into the crook of Jared's arm. He pulled me closer and touched his lips to the side of my face, then went on talking to some random kid about a video game. I saw a girl across the room gazing at us. With undisguised envy, and reminded myself how lucky I was. Jared's hands slipped around my body. I saw a girl across the room gazing at us with undisguised envy, and reminded myself how lucky I was. Jared's hand slipped around my body just under my ribs. "Ready to go?" he asked in a voice only I could hear. I nodded. We'd only been there for 2 hours, but we were never the first to arrive, or the last to leave. "Bye, guys," he said to the whole room, giving a wave. People waved back and started for the dining room, where our coats were slung over a chair. I stopped in the kitchen and put my hand on Jared's chest. "Hang on," I said. "I need to find Ashlyn. She wanted to borrow my Spanish notes from yesterday, and I need her email address." Jared took an impatient breath. "Does it have to be now? It will only take 30 seconds. We already said goodbye." "Yeah, but I know those girls. Alexis, you go back to say one thing, and 15 minutes later, you will still be talking about some idiotic reality show." I opened my mouth to protest, but then I looked up at Jared's face. "Please," he said, "I'm not in the mood to be here right now." "All right," I said. "Let me help you with your coat," he said, standing behind me to slide it over my arms. I heard the sound of a throat being cleared and looked up to see Carter at the door to the dining room watching us. How long had he been there? there. How much had he heard, even though I knew Jared had seen him? He took a straight second to straighten the collar of my coat. And like I was a little girl before seeming to notice Carter and asking, "What's up?" They'd crossed paths at several parties, but they'd never been formally introduced. I got the distance feeling tonight. Wasn't the night to do it. Jared put his arm around my waist and shepherded me out, not waiting for Carter's reply. It bugged me in a way I couldn't quite put my finger on. As we made our way down the sidewalk, I thought about saying something but glanced over at Jared and saw what his expression hadn't softened. Whatever, I thought. Not like Carter and I had anything to say to each other anyway. The car was silent except for the sounds of their other cars passing by. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Jared's fingers drummed noisily on the steering wheel. "Is everything okay?" I asked. He glanced at me. "If it weren't, don't you think I'd tell you?" "Sure," I said. He took his hand off the wheel and rested it gently on my knee. In a few more quiet minutes passed, so he said suddenly, "These parties, what about them? To be honest, I'm not sure how many more I can take." He was smiling, but his smile was tight, forced. "You don't really like them, do you?" "Them? What do you mean? The kids or the parties?" I shrugged. "Either." "The kids are fine," I said. "The parties are okay. Good pizza, right?" He didn't laugh. I sighed. "You're just so different from those people." He glanced at me. "They are not like you at all." "No, they are not. They are all decent people who have messed up their lives." "It's so shallow, you know." "I don't know," I said. "I think people just like to have fun at parties." "Are the kids from your school not like that?" "Casey's not shallow. Her boyfriend's not shallow." Another name rose to the tip of my tongue, but I swallowed it. Carter might not be shallow, but that wasn't what Jared was looking to hear. "2 people out of 50, he asked. "Never mind then," I said. "We don't have to go to even party. We don't have to go to any of them for all I care." He was silent again, and I wondered what I'd said wrong. Look, I said, trying to sound reasonable. "I thought you had a good time, but if you don't, "No," Jared said, "forget it. You're right, I'm wrong." I sighed and sat back. have to be right. I just think they are that bad. He slowed his yellow light and glanced over at me. It's not about the shallowness, okay? It's about you. What does that mean? He shook his head. I just got the feeling that you were being watched. He shook his head. I just get the feeling that you were being watched. The hairs pricked up on the back of my neck. I always felt like I was being watched. Or not watched exactly. I gazed at the windshield, at the headlights of the cars opposite us. They began to blur into halos. My voice turned brittle. Then what? I said exactly. He shrugged, judged. I turned my face toward the window. I didn't want Jared to see how hard it was for me to hold back the tears that had sprung into my eyes. Why did you say that? It bothers me, Alexis. The way you look, the way they look at you, it's like you are some kind of murderer. So, basically what's happening in chapter 11, this book, it's gonna get interesting. He didn't finish the sentence. He just went on. You're too good to be treated that way. So why do you hang around with them? I don't know, I said. I guess because I don't know. But I had a pretty good idea, actually. Because I'm weak. Chapter 12, on As Dead as It Gets. After Jared dropped me off, I said goodnight to my parents and went straight to bed. In spite of weariness, I didn't go right to sleep. I lay under the covers, staring up at the ceiling, thinking about what he'd said. I felt hotly embarrassed. If Jared, who hardly knew them, had picked up on their judgment, then it must have been completely obvious to everyone but me. When I showed up to a party, did everyone think, oh, here she is again? Did they all think I was just a freak, trying to wedge myself into their normal social order? Did Carter think that? Was I the only person who couldn't see how little they wanted me around? My cheeks tingled with shame. My eyes burned with tears. I curled up in a ball and shut my eyes as tightly as I could. Finally, I fell asleep. It was the weirdest dream, almost like being awake. I was drawn out of bed so delicately that I didn't even remember getting out from under the covers. I just found myself standing in the front mirror. The room was dark and couldn't see myself clearly. But I could tell I wore some kind of fancy dress like you'd wear to a dance or a tea party. The fabric was light and flimsy. The room was cold. My bare feet were like ice. I tried to stare into the reflection of my own eyes, but I couldn't focus on them. I felt restless, as if I had somewhere to go, somewhere to be, but I couldn't figure out where. A wave of hopeless loneliness washed through me. And then I burst into tears. I was crying for something, for someone. It was the most desolate emotion I'd ever felt. Like half of me had been ripped away. From behind me, from some dark corner of the room, came a soft sound. Vzz. The sound grew louder until I took my eyes off the mirror and swung around to look for its source. That's when I snapped out of my dream to find that That's when I snapped out of my dream to find that. I really was standing in front of the mirror. The dress was gone, but the scene of unendurable solidate still coated. I crept back under the covers, convinced that no one would ever again really care about me or believe in me. On the nightstand, my phone chirped. The screen lit up with a text message. "Can't sleep," Jared wrote. "Thinking about you." I grabbed the phone like it was my life preserver and dialed Jared's cell. So quickly, my fingers tripped over themselves. He picked up the first ring. "Hi." I swallowed back my tears of relief. This is a booty call, because I don't know what you have heard, but I'm not that kind of guy. His voice, low and gentle, filled with emptiness in my heart like a honey in a bowl. We talked quietly for a while and finally got to the point where we both dozing off. So we hung up. I slept like a baby. That Tuesday, the landline rang at 6:45 in the morning. A few seconds later, there was a knock at my door, and Mom came in holding the phone. "Alexis," she said, "it's for you." "What, really?" I sat up, sniffled a yawn, and took the phone. "Hello, Alexis. Is this Laura Evans. I couldn't place the name. Ashlyn's mother. Oh, I said, hi. Sorry if I woke you up. I'm calling everyone who came to her party. I need to know if you know of anyone might have wanted to meet or talk to, or I'm sorry, I mentioned my mom to flip my light on. Casey had come to the door too. I don't understand. Ashlyn is missing. So Ashlyn just went missing. The mother just went missing, and so let's continue. She said, we think she may have run away. Run away, I repeated. Why? She's been having some problems with her father. Mrs. Evans sighed. I thought maybe someone would have known if there was a place she'd go. Maybe with a boy. No, I didn't know anything, I said, feeling dazed. I'm sorry. Hope you find her soon. I stared at the phone for a second till my mother reached down and took it. Laurel, it's Claire again. I don't even know what to say. I'm sure she will be fine. Have you called the police? Mom shook her head. Well, that's shocking. But it has to be a good sign. Right. They would know, I'm sure. She will turn up. You know how teenagers are. Mom glanced at Casey and me. I got the feeling she might have said more about how teenagers are if we hadn't been in the room. Maybe she said into the phone. That sounds highly likely. All right, I will let you go. If you need any phone numbers, call here. Casey and Alexis may have them. My sisters sank onto their beds next to me. We will be thinking about you. Keep us posted. Mom hung up the phone, then looked down at us, hanging herself. The police won't investigate yet because they think she ran away. But she didn't take her wallet. It's just like she didn't have to finish her sentence. It was just like Kendra. The police won't do anything, Casey said. Even after Kendra practically died. So we just found out that in the last sentence of in paragraph 4, we just heard that Kendra died. So, and people are not going to believe that Kendra's dead. She's not dead, I snapped. She's doing much better. Mom sighed. Don't forget, we are no indications. that what happened to Kendra with any kind of foul play. She just got lost barefoot, Casey asked. In the middle of the night, Mom shrugged. Case, we haven't seen the police report, so we don't know what happened. But there is no point in getting paranoid. It sounds like Ashlyn ran away with a boy. Would you guys know anything about that? No. Why do you say that about the boy? I asked if Ashlyn had a secret boyfriend. She wouldn't have been so yearning over Jared. Mom's chest rose, fell in a sigh. Because there was a rose on the ground just outside her bedroom. A yellow rose. I spun away to hide my reaction from my mother and sister. So the bird necklace either hadn't been destroyed or it wasn't Linda's power center. She was still out there. She hadn't been stopped, which meant my normal life was pretty much over. But Ashlyn hadn't even been in Sunshine Club. Had she and Linda even known each other? Maybe Linda had tried to recruit her at some point. And Ashlyn had said no. Or maybe she said yes and didn't have a chance to join. Or could there be some other random reason and now Linda was just going to carry out her revenge against anyone who got on her bad side? God knows that wasn't hard to do. There was no rhyme or reason to this, no common link. It seemed she was just going to go around luring people in the woods and try to kill them. Unless someone stopped her, and who else could except me? I spent a whole school day in a haze. That the clock was ticking and the odds of Ashlyn being found alive were decreasing by the minute. I'm weak. It had been almost a mantra, and I had a head full of accidental advice to back it up. To back it up. If I went out looking for Linda, she could kill me. How on earth could I possibly win? What? Right? Did I have to fight her? But then, walking down the hall toward lunch, seeing a poster on the wall for a silent auction to help being held to help with Kendra's medical bills. It struck me what Linda What right did I have to fight Linda? That was the wrong question. What did I have not to fight her? Even if I knew I'd lose. But I still needed a plan. By the time the final bell rang, I'd exhausted all of my mental energy trying to come up with some way to stop her. And I had no magical ghost fighting scheme. Then when I least expected it, I got the next best thing. A lucky break. We're gonna stop at chapter 13 and I will pick it up tonight and I will be on my YouTube tonight and we will read chapter 13 and 14. Thank you so much for being on my channel and follow, like, subscribe, and I'll see y'all later.